Hey y'all, Merry Christmas. As you can see, Rebuilds is in the holiday mood, and his desk is all decorated up, and he's got his Christmas tree up as well. But you know, something is missing. Nope, not there either. Yeah, no Resident Evil to be seen anywhere, and that's not right. So let's craft Resident Evil inspired ornaments, specifically Resident Evil keys. For the first key, let's head over to the iconic and well-hidden closet from RE Remake, because Rebuilds is making his favorite key in all the Resident Evil games, the closet key. To build this key, I will be using oven-baked clay, and to make sure that we get a proper thickness, I made this template thing that is made out of Legos, and it's about 1 centimeter tall, which is the exact thickness I wanted for the keyboard. I'm rolling out the clay just with a sculpting tool. When I was satisfied with the roll-in, I started on the key shape. I made this little template out of scrap paper just to make the cutting easier. Speaking of cutting, I used a knife of Exact Zero to cut out the clay shape, and it came out perfect. Next, I added the 4 wings that were cut from the same slab of clay. I used a sculpting tool to try and blend them in as best I could. To strengthen the wings, I'm busting out some paper clips, and yes, these are metal. I cut the clips into short pieces and stabbed them into the wings. I also added one right at the top of the key, but more on that later. Lastly, I took a wooden dowel and stabbed the key body to create a hole at the end of the key. Then it's off to the oven to be baked on low for 15 long minutes. Okay, we're back and the clay is baked, and it's still really hot, and Rebuilds is actually burning his fingers, but that's his problem. Let's move on. The closet key has these 2 beautiful jewels, so I went out and bought some of these 3D stickers at the $1.25 tree, and I'm thinking this one is probably the best one, so we'll use this one. The rest will have to be saved for another time. To make this jewel fit, I made a clay snake to wrap around said jewel, but obviously we can't bake it with the clay because, putting plastic in ovens is illegal, and Rebuilds would be thrown in crafting jail, which if you saw the last video, he's already serving time in the slammer. Okay, let's focus on the neck of the key, which I'll be using this bamboo skewering stick that once again came from the $1.25 store. After cutting it to about 4 inches long, I drilled a hole out at one end so I could fit this tiny dowel in it. Next, I glued this piece of plastic, which I believe was a Christmas light bulb, or at least a part of one, on the stick towards the end. Adding this made the transition from the body to the neck smoother and more decorative. For the top of the key, I'm using this Lego bat. First I drilled the bat's guts and brains out, then I removed its skull, and then I replaced the bat's head with a bead that had a fluoro wire strung through it. Then I attached my monstrosity to the top of the key, right where the paper clip was. Next I added the teeth to the key, which made it look like an actual key, but it was just scrap paper board, so probably not functional. We have progressed enough to start with the painting. These are the 3 colors Rebuilds chose to use, and we'll be starting with this beautiful metallic silver. As you watch Rebuilds paint the key entirely silver, VoiceOver Rebuilds wants to ask you, what are some of the things you would like to see Rebuilds build on this channel next year? All of the videos seen on this channel are planned and scheduled way ahead of time, which means the beginning of the year is when I make the plans for videos. So now is the time for you to give me suggestions on what to build next year. Resident Evil related ideas are most welcomed, of course, and since Rebuilds likes a wide range of things, he'll accept any suggestions from animes, video games, and movies, all that jazz. Comment down below with your lovely suggestions, and you might see it on Rebuilds sometime next year. Okay, with the keys body done, let's paint the jewels, and I'm excited because I get to finally use this beautiful metallic blue, and you know how much Rebuilds loves his metallics. I had this Caesar coin from an old bracelet, and after a quick trimming, it makes a not bad stand-in for the maiden, especially after a quick coat of white paint. Okay, so after another look at the reference picture, Rebuilds discovered that he forgot to paint a gold ring around where the jewels go, which means when Rebuilds said this, these are the 3 colors Rebuilds chose to use. It was a lie. With the truth now revealed, and with a clean conscience, we can glue the jewels into place. And after adding the hanging chain, this ornament was ready to go on the tree. The next key we're building is the old key from Resident Evil 4. This key haunts my memories all because of an experience I had on my first playthrough. After getting through the amazingly terrifying cabin sequence and that awful Lewis dialogue, I took the right path because right is always right. And what do you know? We were ambushed by El Gigante? I don't know, the big fat ogre. Anyways, I ran from him and this happened to me. So that's the reason we're making the old key, because of rebuilds couldn't find the dang thing. So by making it for real, rebuilds can get past the trauma. Or in other words, the lambs will stop screaming for him. The material we'll be using is PVC piping or plastic water piping. This stuff is cheap. You can buy it for pocket change at the hardware store. Hey look, you can even still see how rusty Rebuild's water pipes are. But you know, hashtag poor but beautiful. I'm cutting two 2-centimeter long sections out, then sanding them with no remorse because whether they like it or not, the sanding will help them take glue and paint better. As you can see, the 2 sections are ready for the next step, which I already started when you weren't looking. This piece was sanded at the end so it could fit this fat boy pipe. How did I achieve this? Professional curvature? Well, it was quite simple. With the knowledge of the curvature known, I cut Fat Boy pipe down to a ring shape, and with that, this plumbing lesson was done. Okay, we got both ends of the key taken care of, so that just leaves the middle. As for that, I've swiped my sister's food coloring dye out of her kitchen. As you can see, this food bottle is a perfect match or close to it. And after a quick trim of the top and aggressive sanding, this middle piece was ready to join the others. Before attaching these pieces, let's focus on the teeth of the key. This is 1/2 of a chopstick. However, after a quick chop and a glue, we had a pretty accurate teeth for the key. Let's glue this junk all together, shall we? This might be the most accurate thing Rebuilds has built on this channel, but we're not done yet. I'm cutting strips out of this mac and cheese colored crafting foam, then I'm wrapping them around the key for some extra detail and to be even more accurate to the original. We're almost ready for paint, but I wanted to add some more detail in the form of baking soda and super glue. I randomly spread super glue on various parts of the key, and then before it dried I sprinkled baking soda on it. This will create a nice rough texture on the key. I know it looks like I just ruined the key, and I might have, by doing this, but it will make more sense after painting, I hope. Speaking of painting, here are the 3 colors I used. We're going to start with this beautiful metallic bronze metal. I love metallic, if I haven't mentioned it already, and this is the first time I'm trying out this brand of metallic. Don't know if it's any good yet. I usually prefer Deco Art metallics because it's a good quality paint without breaking the bank, if you know what I mean. Okay, this is what the key looks like after 2 coats of paint, and I'll probably add a 3rd coat because there's still a few patchy areas that the camera isn't picking up, so the jury is still out on this brand of paint. Moving on, we're going to weather the key now, and if you can't already tell, the baking soda / glue step is showing up nicely as a bubbly texture, and with the adding of this dark brown, it's starting to look like a rusty old key, just as I intended it to be. The last step on this weathering tour is adding a small highlight just on the edges of the key with a very light mochaccino tan. And with that, the Rebuild's most accurate build to date was finished, and we could hang it on the tree, conveniently using its ring shape as the hanger. Well, y'all, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video because I really enjoyed making it. Make sure you hit that like button if you like this video and consider hitting that subscribe button as well. As I mentioned before, leave your video suggestions down below if you want to see Rebuilds craft them. Rebuilds is all about putting a spotlight on things that are neglected or forgotten, so nothing is too obscure for Rebuilds to make a crafting video about. Okay guys, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Always remember, be kind and rewind, and Rebuilds will see you next year. Bye bye, my treasured children.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace.